You cannot even get into Glacier this year in 2023. You cannot get into Glacier National Park without a reservation. That only goes through Rec.Gov. That means that Rec.Gov is getting $2 from every single car that goes in to Glacier National Park. Rocky Mountain National Park, same situation. Arches National Park, same situation. These parks are allowing this private corporation to take money straight off the top, and they are creating a windfall for a private for-profit corporation, which again, Bloomberg News referred to as the world's most profitable spy organization. All right, friends, but welcome back to Park Junkie. Todd C coming at you with an update to a story we just released a couple days ago. Who is Rec.Gov? Now, in that story, we detailed that 100% of those reservation fees, application fees, processing fees, and lottery fees through Rec.Gov find their way to a private multi-billion-dollar for-profit corporation named Booz Allen Hamilton. Now, a class action lawsuit which is moving forward in the Eastern District of the state of Virginia alleges Booz Allen Hamilton is defrauding American citizens through the application of Ticketmaster-style junk fees on Rec.Gov. So this is very exciting. Let's get right into the meat of the case, as we've got plenty to do out there, I'm sure. This case moving forward out of the Eastern District of the state of Virginia Federal Court. The case was filed February 11th. A couple of outlets have reported on this. RVTravel.com and the National Park Traveler looked into this as well. For the lawsuit being brought by a firm called Tyco and Zavari, they allege that this case is about holding Booz Allen Hamilton, a multi-billion-dollar for-profit federal contractor responsible for forcing American consumers to pay Ticketmaster-style junk fees to access national parks or other federal recreational lands. Specifically, plaintiffs, on behalf of themselves and all others similarly situated, seek to recover hundreds of millions of dollars in illegal junk fees that have been charged by Booz Allen Hamilton. Junk fees, as used in this complaint, refer to fees that are charged through Recreation.gov and the Rec.Gov app and paid to Booz Allen, including but not limited to park access reservation fees, processing fees, reservation fees, permit fees, lottery fees, and cancellation fees. Junk fees does not include any amounts that are ultimately retained by federal agencies instead of Booz Allen. So what they're saying right there is that the use fees, the actual permit fee that you're paying to the park, that's legal. But the fees that are being sucked off over here to the side in order to get the access to that permit are not legal. And that is key in this, because this is all authorized by the Federal Lands Recreation Enhancement Act, which I detailed slightly the other night, basically saying that this Federal Lands Recreation Enhancement Act was passed ostensibly to provide these agencies with the ability to gain a little bit of money with which they could improve guest facilities in these parks. Well, that's not what these fees are being used for. They're being pocketed by a private for-profit corporation. The suit goes on to claim, and I quote, from 2002 until 2018, Recreation.gov was run by the United States government and efficiently facilitated millions of reservations to national parks and other federal lands. Despite this success, under the pretext of improving Recreation.gov, Booz Allen was awarded an exclusive government contract to reinvent the website. Beginning in 2018, Booz Allen took over the operation of Rec.Gov and immediately began running the website for its own benefit, charging consumers junk fees in the form of the fees we just mentioned. While Recreation.gov has a .gov domain, public records make clear that the federal agencies have no involvement in deciding the amount of processing fees charged per reservation, and no part of those processing fees are given to the federal land agencies. In other words, Booz Allen gets to decide the amount it charges in junk fees, and Booz Allen also gets to keep all of the associated junk fee revenue for itself. Unsurprisingly, Booz Allen has elected to abuse that discretion and charge excessively high junk fees, generally in the $2 to $10 range per transaction. So, saying that Rec.Gov, the fees that are going through that website, going to Booz Allen, and they are abusing the situation. Continue from the document. Quote, given that Recreation.gov handles millions of transactions per year, these junk fees generate tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue every year for Booz Allen. The junk fees are charged at over 4,200 locations across the country, including at the crown jewels of the national park system, including Yosemite, Yellowstone, and the Grand Canyon. It's becoming every single one of these parks. And this is where it turned out to, this is where I first realized that this is a total scam. When I noticed that remote areas of the Grand Canyon, like Torweep and Kanab Point, and places that most people have never even heard of, began to require reservations to enter. That's what set off the alarm for me. And I was just like, this is an obvious scam. And I originally joked around with some people. I was like, I bet this is some senator's brother setting this up. Turns out it's much more sinister than some senator's brother. Turns out it is an entity that Bloomberg News once referred to as the world's most profitable spy organization. And so if you're not familiar with who these guys are, Booz Allen, I'll link to the story I just did on them the other night. Pop in and check out who's actually getting the fees from your public lands. You might be surprised. It goes on to detail that these junk fees can add up. Consider a following example from just one area, Mount Whitney. More than 16,000 people applied for a permit at $6 a piece. And this brings Rec.Gov over $100,000. I've ran through some of those numbers before, so we're not surprised by that. Further, the junk fees take money away from the national park system and other protected federal lands, which are generally in need of additional funding and revenue. So they say, right? The Park Service is obviously not doing well. There was a $12 billion maintenance backlog. And as I suggested the other night, these fees could be going to take care of that. But instead, no, they've got some sort of scam going. And here's the problem. The upper echelons of the Park Service, they're well aware of where these fees are going. Do you think these people actually care about your parks for 2 minutes? No. They're bureaucrats that are entrenched in the system. They have no desire to improve park facilities, and this just proves it. There's no way that people at the top of the park don't know how that this is going on. And I'm not talking about the rangers on the ground. I'm talking to people that are sitting in those comfy little offices over there in D.C. That's who makes these decisions, and there's no way that they don't realize exactly what's happening here. The lawsuit does not challenge the ability of federal land agencies to charge and keep the lawful use fees. It only challenges the junk fees paid to Booz Allen. The payment of these fees is not disclosed to consumers at the time of the account creation. It is not disclosed during the reservation purchase process, and it is not disclosed anywhere on Rec.Gov. In fact, this is quoting right from the case, from the court documents. In fact, when Booz Allen is searched for on Recreation.gov, the website simply confirms that no matching results are found. This is because Booz Allen intentionally operates Rec.Gov to create the false impression that it is run by federal land management agencies and not Booz Allen. As a result, the interface falsely leads consumers to believe that they are paying the junk fees to federal land management agencies which administer those net lands. Now, as we move on, the case starts to cite another case, and it's one we haven't discussed here previously on the channel. It's the case of Thomas Kotab versus the Bureau of Land Management, and it was in the District of Nevada down there at Red Rock Canyon. And that's a BLM administered site, and they implemented one of these reservation fee systems for that area, and they charged $2 per reservation fee. And Thomas Kotab, who was a hiker in that area, I guess, he sued them, and this went to court. The courts ruled in Kotab's favor, and this case here, that's the class action suit that we're speaking about right now, references that case, and it's interesting in what they say about that. They say, quote, the Red Rock Canyon reservation system was a recreation fee and was not adopted in compliance with the Federal Land Recreation Enhancement Act's procedures for adopting new recreation fees. So when the courts ruled in Kotab's favor, the decision was initially appealed by the BLM, probably at the behest of Booz Allen. However, after examining the situation, they probably realized that they weren't going to win this, so they just dropped the case. Now, This decision here, or this filing here in the class action suit references that, and it goes on to discuss that while that decision was initially appealed, the appeal was voluntarily dismissed on August 3rd, 2022, leaving the district court opinion in full force and effect. Despite knowing that its practices are unlawful, Booz Allen continues to charge junk fees on Rec.Gov. Not only that, they go on to point out here that indeed, not only has Booz Allen failed to refund its customers and stopped charging at other areas, they have resumed charging junk fees through Recreation.gov for access to Red Rock Canyon. Yeah. So, the court found you were violating federal law. No big deal. Let's just keep charging it. So they've continued to charge at Red Rock Canyon. Very interesting. Further, and I was quoting from the document again, further, the park access junk fees charged by Booz Allen also deprive active duty military and their dependents, veterans, and Gold Star families, along with the disabled, of free national park passes, to which they are entitled under federal law. Let's be specific. Gold Star access families, Gold Star families, these are folks who have lost loved ones, lost a family member in battle, in defense of their country, in defense of these lands. And this scumbag corporation is taking money from them every time they go to a national park against federal law. These people are entitled to free access to national park lands, along with disabled. If you have a disabled folk, if you have an access pass, there's no charge for those passes. You just simply get a pass and you are allowed into the parks as a thank you, especially for those folks who have lost loved ones in foreign battles. This is a thank you. Like, thank you for your service. Thank you. We are sorry for your loss. Please enjoy your public lands. And this corporation is charging them every time they go into the national parks. Now, that's what you have to understand. These reservation systems are not just for the campsites. They're not just for the backcountry areas. Now we have parks such as Glacier. You cannot even get into Glacier this year in 2023. You cannot get into Glacier National Park without a reservation. That only goes through Rec.Gov. That means that Rec.Gov is getting $2 from every single car that goes in to Glacier National Park. Rocky Mountain National Park, same situation. Arches National Park, same situation. These parks are allowing this private corporation to take money straight off the top, and they are creating a windfall for a private for-profit corporation, which again, Bloomberg News referred to as the world's most profitable spy organization. America the Great, right? How about that? Well, to continue on the point about the Gold Star families and access pass holders being entitled to these passes under federal law. Specifically, these groups are entitled to receive the America the Beautiful National Parks and Federal Recreational Lands Pass without charge and at no cost. And the pass covers the entrance fee, standard amenity recreation fees for all federal recreation lands and waters. Despite this, Booz Allen still charges the fees for reservations that would have otherwise been free with the national parks and federal lands recreation land passes, claiming that the pass discounts only apply to the recreation use fee and that the reservation or other fees are not eligible for a discount. Yeah. And as I said, there's no way that the officials, those entrenched bureaucrats at the top of these land management agencies, there's no way that they don't know that this is how the system is going. There's no possible way. They know exactly what's happening. So what can we do? Well, this case is moving forward, and I'm going to drop talking any further about this. It's very interesting. I'll go reading through the rest of it soon, but I see enough right now to say that this is very exciting. But this is all predicated on the passage of the Federal Lands Recreation Enhancement Act, and that act is up for renewal this year in the United States Senate Energy and Natural Resource Committee. I am going to work in the next few days to put together a form letter that I will post in an upcoming video in the description. You can copy that, paste it to your own browser, and email that to your representatives and to the members of that Energy and Natural Resources Committee. And I will provide you with all of the information you need to find out who those members are, what their emails are, and I will provide a form letter for you to be able to send them information, for you to be able to send them a letter to say, hey, we don't want this company taking money from our public lands. These reservations are nonsense. We know that you're manufacturing a crisis, a visitation crisis at the gates through the Find Your Park campaign. You're popularizing these areas, and then you're telling us that they're too busy for us to enter unless we pay this reservation fee to a private corporation. This is bullshit all the way through. I will put together the document. I will give you the links to your Congress folks, show you where you can find all that. You can copy this, paste it into an email, and send it electronically to these people in the Energy and Natural Resource Committee, and let them know that we do not want our federal lands being used this way. This is atrocious. This is preposterous. It's downright infuriating. But this is what we've come to in the land of the free when we allow the corporations to run roughshod over everything out there. Now, I'm going to be very clear. I'm a free market capitalist, but this is not capitalism. This is corporatism. This is a corporation walking in and taking reins from government officials and telling them how they're going to use those fees. Unacceptable. This is not capitalism. This is in no way capitalism. This is corruption. Downright corruption at the end of the day. No way around it. So stay tuned. I'm going to go further into this as we move forward here on Park Junkie, because I'm excited to see that some action is being taken against these people. And we're going to shut this down, hopefully. And not only we can't count on the courts to do this because the courts can't just, quote, shut them down. We need that Energy and Natural Resource Committee to write language into the Federal Lands Recreation Enhancement Act, which prohibits these sort of fees to be charged and to move on to a third party. And we need to be very, very cautious with how we let these parks move forward with these reservation systems, because I'll promise you one thing. If we don't stop this now, there will not be a national park in this country within 10 years to which you do not need a reservation. And if this system is allowed to go, you're going to pay a private corporation to enter your own public lands. That is absolutely unacceptable in this country. Friends, thanks for tuning in. We need to stick together on this. I'll keep more information coming out. Hope you have a great day, have a great week, and we'll talk to you very soon. Cheers.